Hi there, today I'm going to share with you an album that's a little bit different from my usual because it is an album that I created for somebody else. A little bit of background story. So, a family friend, her daughter recently competed in K-Pop Star Season 5, which is essentially the Korean version of American Idol, and she won. It was so cool to follow her through her journey in this competition and to see her win. It was so wonderful, and she's really talented, so we're all very excited. Her mom asked me to create an album because she collected newspaper clippings throughout the competition, and some of them were starting to turn a little bit yellow, so she asked if I could put them into an album to try and preserve them. So, I said, why don't you give me some photos too, and I'll just make it into a scrapbook album for you. Alright, so, actually, before we get into the album, I've never scrapbooked for anybody else before, and I found it a little bit intimidating. And that's because I usually scrap for myself, and I generally, for the most part, know what I like and what I don't like. But if it's for someone else and they kind of give you free reign, it's, so many possibilities, and I found it a little bit overwhelming. So I decided I wanted to just work with one collection. And I was able to find this paper pad at Michael's. It's called Soho Boutique, and it's by Craftsmith. And I picked it because I really liked the gold and the black and like the rich plums and purples. I thought that was just very fitting. So I'll take you through, just flip through this really quick. So there's gold foil, a cut apart sheet, all these scraps that I keep in here. I just thought these were very beautiful designs. And it's also great because I know a lot of people struggle to find purple in the scrapbooking world. It's kind of like the unicorn of the scrapbooking world. So this is a great collection to have if you're looking to get more purple into your album. So that's the Soho Boutique by Craftsmith. Alright, so now let's get into the album. So I wanted to open with this just because I thought this was really great. I didn't think a title page was necessary, but this kind of acts as a title page, I guess. These are the photo cards that the contestants would sign and give to fans, and so I thought that was just a fun way to start off the album. And I love this design of like in the corners, because I feel like it acts as pattern paper plus embellishment. There's not much else you need to do. I wanted to keep the focus on the photo, and I thought this was plenty for that. The paper pad comes with, there's two different 12 by 12 designs that look like they're meant to be framed, and I thought this one was so perfect. You are capable of amazing things, and she really is, so I thought that was a great fit, so I wanted to include that. Throughout the album, you'll see, I kept a couple things consistent throughout the album. The first is that everything, well, except for this page, is on black cardstock, and everything has some bit of gold in it, whether it's gold mist or a little strip of glitter tape, or some of that gold foil accent in the pattern paper. There's a little bit of gold everywhere, and I picked that because her style is very soulful and R&B, and it's very mature, and I just thought that the gold and black went along very well with her particular style of singing. And when I first started off this album, it was interesting because I went into my collection and pulled out anything purple, black, or gold that I had, and I thought I would have to use everything, but really with the paper pad that I was working with, there were lots of opportunities to kind of cut, like fussy cut things to make your own embellishments, and I actually didn't need much else other than the paper pad. Like pretty much almost everything you'll see here is from the paper pad. So again, I kept my layouts very simple. There's some sheet music looking paper, which I thought was very fitting. And I also matted almost everything with black cardstock just because I thought it made it pop off the page a little bit, because some of the patterns do get kind of busy, so it really just kind of narrows your focus down into the photos and to the articles. And also, with newspaper articles, the paper is pretty flimsy, so matting it on cardstock just beefs it up a little bit, and also I'm positive that the cardstock that I used is acid and lignin free, which should help keep the newspaper looking like this for a bit longer than if it were just on like normal paper. These were cut individually using my Silhouette Cameo and then backed on different papers. These are on pop dots to kind of make it look as if the flowers are coming out off the page a bit. And I believe this is a Heidi Swap sticker. She has all these gold and silver script stickers that I thought went really well with this album. More Heidi Swap. I think this was a crepe paper. It came in a crepe paper die pack. It was for one of their Valentine's Day collections, and it's just a vellum gold foil heart. I left journaling cards to give our family friend kind of a space to write down her thoughts and maybe some dates or, you know, caption the photos. I really like how this page turned out because of the mist. Without it, I feel like this expanse of black would look kind of empty, but the mist really adds more energy to it and kind of brings the page to life. Now this is an article that, it actually wasn't an article, it was the full front page of a newspaper, and it definitely wasn't going to fit into a 12 by 12 page. And so what I did is I scanned it, shrunk it down, used Photoshop to like piece it together, because I actually had to scan it in 2 sections, and I was able to put it together in a way that I hope isn't very obvious. I think the line is right along here somewhere. And then I printed it on the highest quality that my printer could handle, on nice paper, and I think I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. So you can get large size newspaper articles and flyers into your album. You just need to be willing to put in a little bit of work to kind of shrink them down a bit. This is another one that was shrunk down. Best Day Ever, which I thought was very appropriate. Another journaling spot. And an issue that I unexpectedly came, that I was faced with was that my Korean is not very good, and all these articles are in Korean. So I wasn't sure at times what I was reading. Some of them are dated, some of them are not, and I can't tell which event they're from and which week. So Google Translate came in very handy for this. There's an app that uses your camera to read text, and then you can translate it from one language to another, and that was kind of a lifesaver for me. So if ever you find yourself scrapbooking things in languages you don't know, or, you know, especially for travel, it's a really great tool to use. These are all articles that pretty much said the same thing, and I know this thanks to Google Translate. They were all for this festival that she performed at in Atlanta, so I wanted to keep the articles with the flyer. These were fussy cut from the pattern paper. So again, like, there's not, you know, first of all, I kept embellishments to a minimum, but these were all cut from, you know, cut apart sheets, or that's from the cut apart sheet. I was able to do a lot without dipping into other supplies or having to buy like a special set of embellishments, which was great. This was another flyer that I shrunk down. And then these are all the original newspapers that I shrunk down for the album. I wanted to keep them in a safe place. So I just made a pocket and put them in here, and then I also added this divided page protector just so our family friend could put in extra photos, you know, whatever. If there were other photos that she wanted to keep in the album, she could add those very easily, because I did just a small selection. But yeah, so that is the K-Pop Star Season 5 Winners Scrapbook album. And I hope you enjoyed taking a look through it with me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again later.